As I said in my last video, are you looking to upgrade to lithium? If you are, this might be of help. My lead acid batteries were just absolutely rubbish and I needed to power this vehicle behind me. So I reached out to RENOGY and couldn't believe my luck when they actually said yes, they would allow me to have some of their equipment and test it. And this is what they gave me. What you can see are two 100 amp lithium RENOGY batteries. Connected together, they make one large 200 amp battery. Then down here is what is called a smart shunt. So all your earths from all your vehicle, everything that you power inside your motorhome, goes through that shunt. It's also powered by 12 volts, and that follows a cable and ends up here, which gives you information of what's coming out. Now, lithium is obviously great and sadly very expensive. It offers a different type of output, so your lead acids will go down and go down, but you can only use 50% of them. With the lithium, you can apparently use about 80%. Some people say 100. And what this monitor shows me is I've been out all night and I only went down to 66%. And I was powering everything in here, including all the lights, heaters, the whole business. So I'm pretty impressed with that. Tells me the state of my batteries. As far as we know, the next one along on the right, the 220, is 2.2 amps are coming out at this very moment, 29 watts. Never really fully understood what the 5939 is, so I'm going to have to query that with RENOGY, and I'm at 66%. Now, over here is my solar charge controller, which does read the same in volts, fractionally different. It shows I've got solar coming in, but the only really frustrating thing is that, as you can see, it's pumping in about 6.9 amps. This is taking out 2.2, so I'm actually getting more in than I'm having taken out, but that 66 just will not go up. So I must, again, as I say, check. It's quite complicated. Now, so on top of the batteries and the smart shunt, RENOGY gave me this, which is DC to DC or battery to battery. I hadn't realised, and maybe a lot of you guys hadn't realised, that when you start your engine and your alternator produces power for your front battery, which in turn then sends power also to your leisure batteries, it doesn't know what to put in. So if your battery is slightly low, it will start shoveling in loads of power and can quite happily burn out your alternator with lead acids or AGMs, but especially with lithium. So this little puppy, again, maybe it's my vehicle, was quite complicated to work out how to wire it. So alternator goes to your front battery. Your front batteries then go to this. This is a little computer. So the alternator power comes in here at say about 14.6 and goes out the back out there into your leisures at about 13.6, which slows down the rate of charge, which means number one, you won't get so much charge while you're driving along. However, I'd rather have that than burning out my alternator, and I've got solar coming in anyway. So a very, very handy little box. Now, the problem with that is this will only fire up if it is wired into your ignition, which is this wire over here. And it won't work unless it is. And also you have to configure pins on the back, which is, I admit, quite complicated in the manual, in order to make sure you are setting it to your exact batteries that you've got. I didn't want to have to try and disconnect an American RV ignition system and wire it in, so what I did was I wired it directly into the battery and put a switch on my dashboard. Let me show you. Here's my little switch, that little blue one down there. So it means that when I'm driving along, I can choose to turn it on and off again how I like. And the reason I'm doing that is They say that very, very slow speeds, ticking over or just going through slow moving traffic, is actually worse and heats up your alternator even more. Now, in theory, having the DC to DC in anyway should slow that all down. Because I'm a bit of a worry fuss, I decided to put that button on so I can then choose to turn it on as when I like. So if I'm going through traffic or slow moving, I won't have it on. And if I'm on a motorway at a nice speed, where it says it won't heat your alternator so much, I'll then turn that on. So as an end part really of the review, yes, lithium is very complicated to put in, and you've got to be very, very careful, because they say that lithium batteries can explode. Gulp. Secondly, it's quite difficult to understand the manual. However, once they're in, I've been able to run anything I wanted for an entire night. If I really wanted to be over the top and be crazy about it, I could put in another 100 amps, but that's where, because lithium is expensive, you get to try it out. So if, say, you bought one battery, and they are admittedly about getting on £500, you put it in and it doesn't meet your requirements and it hasn't got enough power, then you at least can keep adding to it. I've got 200 amps powering the entire beast, and I've been pretty happy with it. Yes, if I could afford it, I'd stick another one in, but if you've got a good charger on a campsite, that's really, really helpful, and that will do you entirely fine. If not, you've got solar. I found that I can get through a whole night just running whatever I want. So my only last complication is I need to understand about this monitor and whether or not I've got it wired up correctly, because previously when I had the other one, even the old lead acids, just a short amount of solar would quickly whack power into my batteries. And although it does say on that monitor, the solar charge monitor, that it is going up, I just can't understand why the other RENOGY battery monitor isn't working. And I'm sure it's probably my own fault. I'll check with them, and any updates I'll let you know. So I hope this has helped you decide whether or not to go lithium. Personally, I think they're really, really good, and I think ultimately, with my small criticisms of understanding their manual, I think RENOGY are very well priced, and I'm very, very happy. Well, why wouldn't I be? They're free. But in all honesty, if there were major criticisms, I would definitely say so, regardless of whether I got the free. I did explain that to RENOGY. But I have been really, really happy. Just the complication of understanding how everything works. And, you know, I'm not the sharpest tool in the box, so I will have to put some of that blame onto me. I'll get back to you with any updates.